Okay, so now we're going to set up a basic scoring method in GameMaker. Now, before you do this, you want to make sure that each one of your rooms has a bullet layer if you have followed that from a previous tutorial. If you know that everything you do is on the default GameMaker instances layer, then just make sure, go back to the bullet video and make sure that you are creating it on the correct layer. So to actually get the score to appear on screen, we need to create what they call a placeholder, and we do that with an object. So we're going to create object, and it's not going to have a sprite, but we're going to call it something proper, obj score controller. Okay, and this is a blank object. Okay, remember it has no sprite. You need to then put this controller into your room. If you'd like, in the same spot in each room, you copy it and then you paste it in each room. In this controller, okay, I just double clicked on the object there, we need to code it. So we're going to first of all do a game start, and that's add event other game start, and we're going to get a set global variable. Now, a global variable is a piece of memory, okay, location somewhere on the computer, that we're allowed to access throughout the whole game. So this variable doesn't just belong to this object here. Because it's global, it passes it to all the objects. Okay, something to get your head around. A global variable is accessible to all objects, and we want the score to be able to do that. Now, GameMaker has one built in called player score, okay, and that's what you want to call your variable. Just leave the value to 0 for now, and we need to now add a draw event, and this is what gets the actual text of what score we have onto the screen. So you've set up your global variable here. You're going to add event draw. I'm going to scroll over, and you're going to get a draw value. You can also get this by searching draw, and it's the T, okay, the bigger T, draw value. Now the caption is what comes up on the screen by default, so we're going to put score, and then it's going to insert the score in this gap here. Okay, GameMaker's going to be quite smart. Now the value for score is going to be global dot player score. Okay, we've called that variable to be displayed on the screen. X and Y, I'd maybe set them to 10. However, you can play with these values depending on where you want them, where you want the controller to appear on the screen in your game. But we'll leave it like that for now. You can have a play with these numbers after. We need to actually now add score when something hits. So in the bullet object, we need to go into the collision with the enemy. So as the bullet is hitting the enemy, this is where we want to handle adding the score. So first of all, we need to get the global value. Okay, this is the score. So we always have to get it before we set it. Otherwise, it constantly overwrites itself in a circle. So we need to get global.player score before we can set it. And then we need to do a set global variable. Okay. And we're going to set global.player score to +1 relative to what it currently is. Okay, if you look up here, it says add +1 to global variable. If we untick it, it's set global variable to +1. Make sure you tick relative so it adds to the current value that we get. Let's give it a test. So we're going to open up the game. Here's our game here, my test game. So Mario, I'm going to shoot Bowser, and it's going to add 1 to my score up here in the corner. I'm going to go into my next room where I have a few more Bowsers. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this will pass through all of your rooms, through the controller, because it is a global variable.